Hey guys, and thanks for tuning into Nev's Garage. Now, if this is your first time joining us here, please hit that subscribe button and also toggle on that little bell. That way, you'll be notified when our next video comes out. Don't worry too much about the next episode now though, because this episode's going to be great, so stay tuned. What we're going to be doing today, going to be changing some spark plugs. Okay, now depending what kind of engine you've got under your hood, this could be a really quick job or a really time consuming job, but the actual nuts and bolts of it are pretty much the same. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through it now. It's pretty simple, just going to be able to do it with some basic tools that most of you are going to have at home already. So let's get into it. Okay guys, so here we have everything we're going to need to do the job. We've got of course our spark plugs, we've got our spark plug socket, we've got a ratchet and extension, we've got some anti-seize grease for the threads, we've got some electrical contact grease for the tips, and also got this little guy. He's optional, but he's going to help us a lot. This is a flexible spark plug driver. Okay, so this guy helps us start our threads and send our plugs down the hole in the right fashion so they don't get cross-threaded, and it makes things a lot easier, and it's fun to play with as well. So alright, what you'll notice we don't have here, which you would have needed in an old school spark plug job, is a set of feeler gauges. Why don't we have them? Well, decent spark plugs come pre-packed and pre-gapped with a protection sheath, okay, so they can't get closed up in transit, and they're already preset to the specified gap. These ones are set to a 1.1mm gap, so as long as you can get the right spec plugs and they come packed with a sheath, you won't need to gap them, you can just bung them in the hole. If your auto parts shop can't supply the ones with the right gap, and you've got to get a larger or a smaller gap, where you're going to have to gap them, but if you can get the right ones, she's apples. So let's work on getting the old ones out now. Okay guys, so here we have my EA82, 4-plug, 4-cylinder, and pretty simple to get to the plug. So first thing we need to do is just pull the leads off. And if it's not super obvious where they go back, either mark them or sit them in order. This one, front, back, very easy. Always pull on the boot, not on the lead. Alright guys, now this next part is pretty much the most crucial part in doing a spark plug job, because what we're going to do now is pull our old plugs out, but we're going to make sure that none of the grit that's built up around the plug ends up in the cylinder. Okay, so what we need to do, we just need to crack each plug loose about 1/8 of a turn, and then stop there, and we need to blow compressed air all around the plug valley to punch all that dirt out before we remove our plugs. Okay, so let's do that now. Okay, so like I said, just need to crack them loose a little bit like that. Okay, just to unseat them. I'll just show you what I mean by the build-up of crud down in this hole here. You see it down in there, and that just happens around spark plugs. Okay, gravity just pushes all that stuff down in there. Now if we take that plug out with all that stuff around it, guess what? Straight down into the cylinder. you're going to have a bad time. So let's remove all that now with our compressed air. Alright, so now we're ready for the plugs to come out, so let's put our socket back down in there and rip them out. And 4. Okay, time for our new plugs. So what we do, just take them out of the box, one at a time of course. Rightio, there we go, got our nice new plug. This is where we get to use our cool bendy tool. Just plonk him in the end like that. Now comes our anti-seize grease. So this just goes on the thread like that. Okay, give it a good smear. Any excess will just push up the thread when we screw it in anyway, so don't worry about putting a bit extra on. Okay, and we're good to go down the hole now. So in we go, and you can see how our flexi tool helps us navigate the plug, and because it's flexi, right, we can sort of move it around like this, make sure she's started properly in the thread. Which is especially useful for hard to get locations. Alright, so there we go, she's started, and because we've always used anti-seize on these threads, I can screw him in almost all the way by hand with this thing. So I know that the thread's nice and clean and it's screwed in properly. Okay, now it's time to torque them up. Okay, so don't be a hero and tighten them up so that no one can ever get them out again. Just torque them down till you feel them get tight like that, which means the gasket is compressed. That's plenty. You'll feel it when you should stop. Okay, almost done. Now we just put a dab of dielectric grease on each tip of the spark plug, or on the tip of each plug I should say. This just helps promote conductivity from the lead through to the plug and also prevents corrosion in that connection. Okay, so now we can pop our leads back on. Right, and that's it guys. So let's see how she fires up. That's sweet. Alright guys, well that's how easy it is to properly change a set of spark plugs. And just remember to keep those plug holes clean, and your engine will love you for it. So that's about it for this episode. As always, thank you for liking, sharing and subscribing to our YouTube channel here. And also remember to jump on our Instagram @GossaMedia. Follow us there, join into the discussion, and you might see some behind the scenes shots as well. Anyway, until next time, I'm Nev. This is my garage. Take care.